I love West Elm decor, but not always the price tag. So I picked up this vase at my thrift store for $5, and I found a bowl similar to the shape that I wanted for $4. It was a little rough, but the finish that I was going to be doing, it didn't really matter. All I needed is some drywall mud, paint, and some tools. I always scuff sand my surfaces first so everything adheres a little bit better. I mix the drywall mud right in with the primer, and then you don't have to pre-prime your piece. I apply the texture first with my hands, and the longer it sits, it starts to dry up. So that allows you to play with your texture. I use a variety of different things to create my texture. I use sponges, paint brushes, paper towel. I work in thin layers so that I can build my texture up. The first layer is usually pretty thin. Once that dries, you can continue to add your layers and create your texture with whatever tools you'd like to use. Sponges work really well to give a rustic pottery look. I use my sponge as my final step to smooth everything out. I use a crosshatch pattern to give it a handmade look. And because I'm impatient, I use my hairdryer. For this project, I used a beige paint and a white paint. These are mineral paints, but you can really use any flat paint. I usually dilute my paint at about 10-to-1 ratio with water, but that's totally up to you depending on the look that you're going for. I usually start with my darker color as the base, and will add my lighter color on top as I go. There's really no rules, just apply the paint however you want. You can remove some of the paint with paper towel or a sponge. This was a little darker than what I was going for, so I just continued to add more of my light paint until I got a color that I was happy with. I removed some of the paint with my sponge, and it just adds a little bit of depth to your piece. And I moved on to my bowl, applying the same process. And this is how they turned out. I didn't apply any top coat or sealer because I wanted to have the matte pottery look. I think they look beautiful on a dining room table with a white candle. You can either keep the bowl empty or fill it with other decorative items. I chose bunny tails for the stems, and once Christmas rolls around, I'll probably switch those out with something a little bit more festive. What do you think?